Yeah, there we go. Facebook, thank you guys for being so patient. All right, so now it can officially begin. What's up? Lee Sanders here. You are checking out an all new The RCWR show covering the latest in wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. Coming at you guys live right now for Sunday night of March 11th. 2018, as we are talking fallout from tonight. WWE Fastlane event, as we are now just 28 going on 27 days away from the big spectacle event of them all known as WrestleMania. This is probably going to be the shortest of shortest after shows I have done in a long time, quite honestly. And honestly, the reason why there's not really so much for me to really dive into on this edition. I think at this point I need to be conserving my energy for WrestleMania and NXT weekend and the Hall of Fame ceremony. But I definitely want to try to get a lot of you guys involved. I see already there's a little bit of chatter that we have coming about right now where I'm asking you guys, what did you think about tonight's pay-per-view event? Hey, I don't know how you're checking this out right now, but we're streaming on 3 different platforms. Take your pick. We're streaming live right now on Spreaker. We're also streaming on YouTube. We're streaming on Facebook. Actually, 4 platforms now that I think about it, because we're also streaming live via the RCWR Show app that is available for free in the Google Play Store. Yes, the RCWR Show actually has its own app now. So I don't know how you're checking this out right now, but I do appreciate you guys that's doing so right now. But a lot we need to get into. But as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, I have a poll that's up right now asking you guys, what did you make of tonight's WWE Fastlane event? So take your pick. You can either say a little something on Facebook. There is a poll that's up via Twitter, and there's also something up right now via the YouTube channel. Just click over on the communities tab section of the YouTube main page for the RCWR show, and you'll be able to cash your vote in that way. And we'll tally up the votes in just a little bit. But for now, kick on back, man. Smile and enjoy. As honestly, what can I say? Look, reason why this is going to be really short as far as an after show goes, and anybody that's new to the after shows, because I know as the week progresses, we pick up more and more newcomers that honestly they may not really be familiar with the show. So we don't like to just jump all over the place and just, yeah, there's the finish of the match. We like to go boom, 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 try to go through it as quickly as possible, but in particular, get the interactions, get the reactions from those of you that have seen the event and want to chime in your thoughts as well, because it's not just about me, it's about you guys as well. This is our show, right? This is our moment right now, right? Pre-show for Fastlane. Honestly, I didn't really have too much of a problem with the pre-show for tonight. We had Renee Young joined along with, as always, Booker T. We also had Sam Roberts, and we had David Otunga. Nice to see David Otunga is more and more starting to get into the whole rotation. And I couldn't help but notice that one of my colleagues actually got into a little bit of a verbal scuffle with Renee Young on social media because of her choice in clothing during tonight's pre-show event. Honestly, I didn't have a problem with what Renee Young was wearing. I've always had, like, can I be honest with you guys? Let me be real with you guys. I've always been a little bit of a sucker for a woman who doesn't want to put the whole world on notice about her body parts. That's really the best way I can pretty much come at it, right? That's the best way I can sum it up. And for me, Renee Young is always one of those type of women, at least the way she's come off to me over the years, she's very conservative. Even before she had got hooked up with Dean Ambrose, she's always been a very conservative woman, does care about her appearance, does want to put that sexiness out there, but doesn't want to be taken as a slut, right? Doesn't want to be looked upon as a slut, or, oh, she got to where she is because she did XYZ, right? At least that's the vibe she's giving to me. Just my 2 cents from a distance. So I was quite amazed that Renee Young was actually going back and forth with people over her choice of wardrobe tonight. I just thought, really, of all the things that could be talked about, really, we're going to talk about the freaking wardrobe, all the beautiful women that we get to see on a weekly basis. And I'm not just talking about us men. You got women that's into women as well. So there's a little bit of something for everybody, right? So all the things that we could talk about during this fast lane, and we're going to talk about somebody's wardrobe. I mean, it'd be one thing if we're seeing them in the ring every single week or something of that nature. But I just thought I got a chuckle, honestly. I got a chuckle out of it, but I just thought that was really, come on, man. Let's talk about something else. So we had the pre-show matchup. I called this, and shout out to those of you that actually did check out the Call That Match edition of the RCWR show, where I offered preview and match predictions as far as if I were to book a lot of these matches, how I felt it was going to be coming about. And at the time that we did the Call That Match edition, there was no pre-show matchup that was announced yet. And those of you that did check it out can back me up on this. I went on record and I said, honestly, nothing for the pre-show. What's going on with Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin? What's also going on with Fandango, Tyler Breeze? Let's see if maybe we can get them involved. And my God, Jilly Willer goes, eggs on me. I totally forgot about Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, and I forgot about Mojo Riley. I totally forgot those guys were on the SmackDown roster. And you could say it's a case of Lee Oman's age is catching up to you, but I'd like to look at it more so as, yeah, I haven't seen these guys on programming past couple of weeks. And for me, you could say, well, they've been involved in some backstage vignettes. If the vignettes are only lasting about maybe 30 seconds, then 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to be missing the damn thing. So I'm really hoping that in the weeks to come, that we can see a lot of these guys that really haven't been getting that much love as far as TV showings go. They can get that treatment. I mean, right now, though, it is definitely all about pushing the WrestleMania card, but I feel that with guys like Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin, Tyler Breeze, Fandango, Mojo Riley, Ty Dillinger, you name it, there should be enough for everybody to be able to get on this WrestleMania card. Pre-show or not, there should be plenty of room to get all these guys in, so that way everybody is going in there. Got a little bit of something for everybody. You feel where I'm coming from? But other than Mojo Riley, Ty Dillinger, I pretty much had called this. I got this pretty accurate as far as what was probably going to end up being a pre-show matchup. And we did see the team of Shelton Benjamin, Chad Gable with Ty Dillinger team up to take on the team of oh, wait a minute. Let me say that again. We saw Ty Dillinger, Fandango, Ty Dillinger. I want to make sure I probably said it right the first time. You never know. But they took on the team of Shelton Benjamin, Chad Gable, Mojo Riley. Decent tag match. I got to tell you, though, there was actually one part during the match that left me kind of scratching my head a little bit. And that was Mojo Riley. He gets a tag. He goes in there. He's doing his thing. And you've got the crowd that is just booing the hell out of this man. I mean, they are booing this guy big time. You could feel it. And by the way, to the crowd at Columbus, Ohio, at the Nationwide Arena, you guys are all right, man. You guys did a pretty decent job, I would have to say, tonight. Pretty much energy into it a lot. Really had enjoyed it. You guys did pretty damn good, I must say. You guys did really good tonight. But when Mojo Riley got in there, he was doing a couple of his moves. You had the Ohio crowd say to Mojo, "You can't wrestle. You can't wrestle." And you see Mojo Riley, it's obvious that he is very agitated. He's pissed off by what the crowd is saying to him. So of all the ways you can pretty much come up with a witty comeback or whatnot, the witty comeback that Mojo Riley puts out there, and you could hear it clear as day. He says to the crowd, "You think I care about being a wrestler?" And I'm kind of going, wait a minute. No, that can't be right. Right? That can't be right. But no, sure enough, I heard it right, because there was actually a few other people that had interacted with me. And shout out to those of you that was actually interacting with me on Twitter off and on during the event tonight. Yeah, I'm looking at, because I just wrote down a couple of notes here because I was kind of doing a sidebar with a buddy of mine a couple of weeks back, and he was like, Lee, you don't have to go over every single nook and cranny of what goes down at a pay-per-view. Try to talk more about things that jumped out at you, things that you thought were pretty cool, and kind of go at it that way. I said, huh, that's something to consider. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. But no, the somewhat exact words that Mojo Riley had said, and I quote here, "You think I care about being a wrestler?" That's exactly what Mojo Riley said. He said, and I quote, "You think I care about being a wrestler?" So you're kind of scratching your head and you're kind of going, now I didn't rush to judgment. I'm kind of going, what exactly was Mojo Riley trying to accomplish here, man, with this statement? Was he trying to basically say that he is beyond a wrestler, that he is a sports athlete, considering he played football for a good amount of years, professional football, right? So is that maybe what Mojo Riley is trying to establish in his retort to the crowd? Or is he trying to insinuate that he's so much more than a wannabe wrestler, that maybe he is a beast incarnate version of Brock Lesnar? I mean, curious minds want to know, but if he's saying this from the standpoint of, no, he is a sports athlete, then it's kind of okay. I can get behind that. I can kind of, I can see you. Beast incarnate, no, but if you're gonna go with the whole, you're not an MMA fighter, you're not a fighter. So if you're gonna go with the whole, you're a sports athlete, okay, I can kind of wrap my brain around that. But it just really came off very awkward. Felt like he really did rehearse it enough, quite honestly. But I got a nice chuckle out of hearing Mojo Riley say that. But other than that, decent pre-show matchup. We had saw the team of Breezango and Ty Dillinger defeat Chad Gable, Mojo Riley, and Shelton Benjamin. Oh, good, decent little pre-show, man. Decent. I'm glad it was an hour. Quite honestly, it didn't even need to be an hour. I think, quite honestly, when it comes to some of these SmackDown events that's coming about, honestly, well, we know that the SmackDown branded pay-per-views are pretty much for 2018 is about to be phased out when it's all said and done. But if you ask me what I personally would like to see going forward, I don't really think you need to do a whole hour for some of these pre-shows, quite honestly. I think you can cut it down to 40 minutes. You can cut it down to 45. I don't think there's really no need to be going a whole hour, quite honestly. Would you guys agree with that? Or are you honestly quite fine with the whole hour? Let me know. And in the meantime, I want to take this time out. Welcome those of you that is checking out the live stream right now. However you're doing it, man. Maybe you're checking it out via YouTube. If you are, make sure you click on the like down below the video. And there, if you haven't subscribed, on top of hitting the subscribe button, there's a little bell icon. Click on that bell icon. That way you guys always know about notifications every single time I'm live on the air. See everybody that's chatting in the YouTube chat right now. Appreciate you guys that's interacting. I also appreciate those of you that's checking the stream out on Facebook, and definitely got to show some love over to our Spreaker audience as well. Shout out to all of you guys, and especially those of you that's going to be checking this out on the downloads, man. Let's continue on. Let's talk about some more of the action that we had from tonight's whatchamacall. Nelson yeah, I see right now. No, a lot of you guys are saying so far. I just asked that question about what you guys think about the whole pre-show being an hour. I see Exotic Mods. He's saying 1 hour, way too long, Lee. But they gotta do their promos, advertising, replays, etc. All that. Yeah. But you know what, guys? Those of you that have been a long-time WWE fan, you can back me up on this. There was a time, long time ago, and I'm kind of putting my age out there because I'm almost 40. So a long time ago, there used to be a time where WWE would come on 30 minutes before a pay-per-view event, and normally it would be something that was already pre-taped, right? It wasn't live. For 30 minutes, they would tell you everything that was going about. So if you had DirecTV or whoever the big three were at the time before it just went all balls out crazy like it is now. I'm talking about when you go back to, oh, I'll say like about the 80s going into the 90s, 80s going into the mid 2000s, I'll say. There used to be a time where 30 minutes before the pay-per-view would come on, you used to be able to get your 30-minute recaps. And then you would have some cable or satellite providers that would show you the 30-minute pre-show joint or whatever for why you need to watch WWE Fastlane, right? But then after it was over, they'd come back 30 minutes. Well, no, not 30 minutes later, but they would come back a few minutes later. So basically it went down like this. In the old days, WWE, they would pay for, just say, the 7 o'clock hour, 6 p.m. Central, wherever the hell you live, right? Basically an hour before the pay-per-view would come on. They basically would have the first 30 minutes, they would go over all the matches. And then usually after that went off, a few seconds later, that same replay would come on again. My buddies will back me up on this. So they can do it. I think, honestly, we're just in this day and age right now where everything is about monetization. Sadly, it is about monetization and maximizing on profit. That's, I mean, let's really be honest. That's what it's all about right now, right? We could be in agreement. That's what it's all about. It's probably not going to change. I agree with the majority of you guys. It's probably not going to change. But in either case, let's keep on trucking on, babies. All right, so opening matchup, we had Shinsuke Nakamura. He defeated Rusev. Honestly, I had no problem with this opening up the Fastlane card. I thought it was a decent matchup between both of these guys. I love the fact that they had Aiden English come out, try to swerve the crowd just a little bit, but you know, he's kind of being a little bit of a tweener. He can be insulting, but yet at the same time, he's putting over Rusev. He's putting over Rusev Day. It's a decent matchup. Good opener. It was actually the opener that I felt was really needed for tonight, because you can usually kind of get a really good feel for how the matches are going to be coming about with the opener. And just my interpretation, my 2 cents from a distance, the way that we had this opening matchup for me, it really kind of gave me the vibe of, okay, you can expect some matches that are going to be meh, and some matches are going to be, wow, that was actually surprisingly good. And when I look at Nakamura taking on Rusev, was it a 5-star matchup? Hell no. Was it a 4-star matchup? Hell to the no. Was it maybe a 2.5, a 3-star? Yeah, you saw a lot of potential there, and that's no disrespect to Nakamura or Rusev. It's just, honestly, that opening matchup, it set the tone. I mean, it wasn't a bad match, but it wasn't a superb match at the same time. And I think a lot of you guys would agree, especially given the fact that this match came about on such short notice, mind you. It came up on such short notice. So, you know, decent opener. That probably had got the third most time to tell a story. They clocked in at almost 15 minutes. So, you know, good matchup. Randy Orton had defeated Bobby Roode for the United States Championship. You know, that's something I had overlooked when I was offering preview and predictions there, man. I was looking at Bobby Roode, and if you guys didn't check out what I had said, basically on the Call That Match edition Friday night, I had said I actually would have Bobby Roode go over. And I also had addressed another question, which was, okay, Lee, well, if you're going to have Bobby Roode go over, well, who's going to be his next challenge coming up at WrestleMania? What would you do then? And I laid out this great story about how I would set up Shelton Benjamin. And, you know, rather than have you guys sit through all that just to hear that part about Shelton Benjamin, I basically had said, most simplistic storyline. Some of Shelton Benjamin's greatest moments in his career, aside from him beating Triple H 3 weeks in a row on Raw, also came when he got drafted over to SmackDown. And he was a beast over there. He had became United States champion. He had defeated Matt Hardy for the U.S. title, and he went on to have a successful reign for 243 days until he was defeated by MVP Montel Vontavious Porter. After that, it just pretty much he went to ECW, and it never really got back to good. And you could have did some silly little crap backstage, instant Acme feud, where basically Sheldon could have said to Rude, some of my best moments for my career had came about, I recall, when I held on to that United States title. And 2018 is still early. I'm still after that gold. You doing this whole open challenge for the U.S. title? Consider me your next challenge. I was looking for that. And a lot of you actually had liked that idea. Those of you that saw the stream, you said, yeah, Lee, I'm liking that. I think, honestly, those two would tear it up. That would probably be a good underrated match that would show up pretty damn well at WrestleMania. Yeah. But the fact that it didn't go down this way, let's break this down a little bit further. And I don't want to go all overkill on this matchup. I just randomly, I want to just talk about things that I kind of felt really came to the forefront, especially when I'm looking at this match. Now, these guys gelled very well together. I got to give them props, all right? Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, they gelled really well together. But see, here's the problem that I have. And I know some people are going to come at me and they're going to say, Lee, Randy Orton, he never won the United States Championship, and kind of made a little bit of sense to go in this direction. I can see that, but only to a degree. And for you guys that love fun stats and everything like that, here's a fun, interesting stat for you guys. Let me just check my notes real quick here. And I got a fun stat I want to share with you guys. Bear with me a second here. Here it is. Check this stat out. You'll get a kick out of this. Randy Orton, as a result of winning the United States title tonight, he joins Chris Jericho as the only WWE superstars to achieve the WWE Grand Slam Championship with the U.S. title as their final accomplishment and making it happen. How about that? Is that crazy or what? In all the years that Randy Orton has been in the WWE, wait a minute, he didn't touch the U.S. title until now? Yeah. Very hard to believe, I know. But, I'm happy for Randy Orton because I've been a long-time Randy Orton fan, and we all know how at one point in his career, Randy Orton came off very robotic, very boring. But I would have to say within the last 3, maybe even 4 years, Randy Orton has really been at a late bloomer, mind you, really displaying that personality more and more. And now when you see him come out, you're actually pretty excited. You're actually kind of happy to see the man come on out there. So, for me, I'm happy for Randy because this gives Randy something to do coming up at Mania. And let's be honest, Randy Orton, come on, dude wasn't even at Raw 25. I don't know whose fault that is. But to not have Randy Orton at Raw 25, and you got his woman going on social media, pretty much blasting WWE for that, right? And then you think about the weeks that he's missed on SmackDown just cause, and there was actually a few pay-per-views that he wasn't on as well, not by design. So, yeah, this is kind of nice if you're a Randy Orton fan. All right, great. We got a little bit of Randy Orton coming up at Mania. That's great. But now let's flip the script. Let's look at things from the standpoint of if you are a Bobby Roode fan. And I was talking to Ben, creator of Awesome Con. By the way, those of you that's going to be in the DMV area coming up later this month, what is it, March 28th through April 1st, yours truly is returning to Awesome Con at the Convention Center in Washington, D.C. as part of the press media for the entire 3-day event. Looking forward to it. So if you guys are going to be going out there, let me know. Maybe we can meet up, have a couple of drinks or whatnot, eat at a really good place. But if you see me, say hello, definitely. I was talking to Ben from Awesome Con, and we had a really great back and forth about Bobby Roode, and we both kind of we're at the same page basically about our takeaway from Rude. And my argument with regards to Rude was, this guy hasn't been quite the same ever since he got the call up to the main roster. And it's quite sad, when you stop and think about it. And to Ben's point, Ben's like, well, let's really be candid here. If we're going to be so about Bobby Roode, what really made him in NXT was the entrance. It's the theme song. Take away the theme song, and there's really nothing there. And, at first when I read that, I was about to allow myself to experience whatever the first emotion was from reading that, which is, man, you're wrong. But the more and more that I had to stop and think about it, well, what was Bobby Roode at that point in his career in NXT? What was he at that point? He was basically a glorified, rest his soul, the Reverend Billy Graham, not to be confused with Superstar Billy Graham, but then some people called him Superstar as well. So it goes, which superstar are you talking about? But he reminded me of the late Superstar Billy Graham, the Reverend, meets Ric Flair 2.0. We've seen this gimmick done before. And you're going, okay, yeah, this is, I can get behind it. Some of his best work, though, and I think those of us that have been long time Bobby Roode fans, we all would be in agreement. Some of his best work has come as a result of being a heel. So to see him make this transition from where he was at NXT, and then all of a sudden he's just this toast face, apples, yummy, very delicious, thumbs up soldier, Captain America, babyface dude, basically. It was kind of like, well, what? Why the change all of a sudden? I'm not sure I really understand this. So, look, if I'm being blunt, Bobby Roode's call up on the main roster, it's been a bust. It has just been a bust. It has not been successful. And, only to a certain degree do you put some of that blame on Bobby Roode. You also got to put some of that blame on creative. You also have to put some of that blame on the writers. But we all could be in agreement. As me and Ben were going back and forth about this, I said, well, dude, let's really take this a step further. Let's go back to the TNA days. Let's look at Beer Money. James Storm was pretty much carrying that bad boy. You think I like saying that? I'm speaking the truth. Probably when Bobby Roode really had, now some would say, well, what about Team Canada, Lee? What about Team Canada? You kind of looked at Roode a little bit, but not enough to say, my eyes are on this dude because 5 years from now. No, it wasn't anything like that. Find me somebody that had said at that time, oh, yeah, that Roode from Team Canada, he's going places. They'd be lying. They would sincerely be lying. But James Storm was the one that was carrying the hell out of Beer Money. I mean, let's be for real. Bobby Roode really didn't start getting things popping until he betrayed James Storm, took that bottle of beer, bashed that bad boy over the face of James Storm, winning his first TNA championship and all that. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, man. So to see what's been coming about with him, NXT, I admit he started off fairly decent. He had the whole smug, arrogant, cocky little bastard thing that was going on. But once you get past the entrance and all that, it's like, well, what was there really? What was there really? But it showed a little bit of potential. I'm not talking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm just looking at it from all angles. But it's been a buzz, and it's really been sad. And my hope going forward is that WWE can really get back to basics with Bobby Roode and figure out a game plan for this guy. I tell you what was not cool. What was not cool was the finish to this match, which basically didn't Randy, you guys need to correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Randy Orton pretty much win with an RKO basically? If I'm not mistaken. And it was like a really cool finish that they had did. I'm not sure if Bobby Roode came off the top rope or what, but I remember Randy Orton winning via RKO. That much I remember for sure. But you see Randy Orton celebrating. Jinder Mahal gets involved. And you're going, okay, all right, this makes a lot of sense, right? All right, okay, sure. So we see Jinder Mahal, he gets in there, pretty much brings the fight to Randy. Randy is fighting off Mahal, a little bit. And then just out of nowhere, Bobby Roode attacks Randy Orton. Okay, so let me see if I have this straight. We're supposed to now boo Bobby Roode. Is that like what we're supposed to be doing here? Because it seemed like a cheap ploy to try to give Bobby Roode back some type of momentum. It seemed like a cheap tactic to try to get him some type of instant heat or whatever. It just really made him come off like a bad sport for losing the US title. I just didn't like how that all had went down. It was just okay, so are we supposed to root for Randy, but we're supposed to boo Jinder Mahal? Okay, well, now that Bobby Roode had attacked Randy Orton the way that he did, are we now supposed to boo Bobby Roode? Because what we've been getting of Bobby Roode on SmackDown these past several weeks has been that of a babyface, yeah? So, like, what exactly? So, that's a lot of cleaning up, right? That's a lot of cleaning up that they need to do. It almost kind of felt like that last Spider-Man movie that came out. I'm not talking about the really good one that came out in theaters. What was that last year? I'm talking about the one where Jamie Foxx was Electro and they just had all this silly little crap that was going on, all these different villains and story arcs you had to focus on, and you're just going, I'm going crazy here. What the hell? I just wasn't really feeling that when it's all said and done. But again, Randy Orton defeating Bobby Roode to become the new United States champion. Good matchup. That actually had clocked in at about almost 20 minutes. It was good. A little bit slow. I would have to say things really didn't start picking up. No, I would say probably not until about maybe the 12-minute mark, give or take. Saw the team of Natty and Carmella. They defeated Becky Lynch and Naomi. Pretty short women's match. Honestly, 2 cents from a distance. It just really came off like a SmackDown match, to the point a lot of these matches that we had got, yeah, well, no shit, Sherlock, that it's a SmackDown branded edition, because you're seeing the SmackDown cast being part of this pay-per-view event, but it just felt like a glorified edition of SmackDown. It really did not have a pay-per-view feel to it when it's all said and done. Now, I think a lot of you guys would definitely agree with me about that. Here's where my money was, and this was another short match. Hard to believe. Didn't even get to 10 minutes. I'm talking about Usos taking on the New Day. I called this match frame for frame. Again, we got to go back to the Call That Match edition for the RCWR show that we did, offering Fastlane picks. And I told you guys frame for frame that if I was booking this match, what I would have come about, there would be no winners. You would actually get the Bludgeon Brothers coming on out, let their music hit. They're coming out. You got the tag teams both looking at these guys like, what the hell are they about to do here? And it made a lot of sense because it seemed like every single time New Day spit they fire in the ring, we see the Bludgeon Brothers come out. All of a sudden, no, we don't want none of that, man. You use the man. You got that, dog. We just making our way out. You cool? You cool? You all right? You all right? Same thing for the Usos. And then we see the segment where the Usos and the freaking New Day, they just going back and forth. Really great promo segment. Bludgeon Brothers just come in there like they own the joint. And they just, all four guys just roll out of the ring. You're going, technically 5 guys, because you had 3 members of New Day and you got 2 of the Uso brothers. So it's like, what the hell? So you got 5 guys against 2 guys. 2 guys. And they just decided, we don't want none of this. We're out of here. I just was, man, kick rocks. Why you gotta be acting like a punk ass? Come on, it's 5 of you and only 2 of them. Come on, man. But no, seriously, I say, obviously the way it was going for me, the vibe that I was taking in was that we're probably going to see some type of a triple threat match. And I said frame for frame how this match was probably going to be playing out, especially considering how Uso said which is still hard for me to believe now that a couple of days have passed, which is Usos have never had their WrestleMania moment. And what they say now, 9 years that they've been part of the WWE, they've never had their WrestleMania moment. They've never actually been a part of the WrestleMania card. What cruel luck is that? Seriously. I mean, I got to pose that question to you guys. Are you guys a little bit dumbfounded by that info as well? And shout out to Ted. Yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield that came out a couple of years back. Yeah, it was just a big old clusterfuck. It reminded me of Batman Forever. Yeah, that's definitely what it had reminded me of. But no, that went down exactly how I thought it had, how I thought it was going to play out. Really no surprise there. I don't really think there should be any surprise for anybody that was watching that matchup for the finish to go down the way that it had went down. Yeah. All right. We've got 2 more matches to talk about. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. We're doing pretty good on Showtime. I told you this was going to be pretty short. I'm looking at how long we've been on the air right now. And my girl had got a nice little chuckle. I told her, I said, "Hun, this is going to be short." I hear you talk. No. It's going to be short because it really wasn't that much for me to sink my teeth into. Blah, 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 blah. It's going to be short. I want to do like maybe, I don't know, 35, 45 minutes in and out. It's not going to be an hour. And we're already at the 38-minute mark. And we're already down to 2 matches. So, I mean, let's see. Can we do it, guys? I think we can get out of here by the 45-minute mark. Let's see. All right, 2 more matches to talk about. Charlotte Flair taking on Ruby Riot for the SmackDown Women's title. I've been a big fan of Ruby Riot for a lot of years. Ruby Riot, Heidi Lovelace is how I remember her before she came in the WWE. As far as I was concerned, I was definitely ecstatic. Aside from just the way the story arc was setting about for Ruby getting involved in a program with Charlotte, I felt it was rather weak, but the potential matchup of Charlotte Flair taking on Ruby Riot, I loved it. On paper, I loved it because I know what Ruby is capable of, right? And for me, I looked at this as a career-defining moment for Ruby Riot, aka Heidi Lovelace, to prove that she is definitely deserving of being in the same conversation as, dare I say, a Paige, a Charlotte, a Becky Lynch, a Sasha Banks, a Bayley. She deserves to be in the breath of those same women. And for me, this was pretty much the way I looked at this match. I looked at this match as her come out party. And I got to admit, she handled herself very well against Charlotte. Because, I mean, let's be totally honest here. As far as who is the veteran and who is the somewhat still a rookie and this one, but continuing to learn. And if you learn anything from reading Charlotte Flair's book, is that she's very humble. She is one of those type of athletes that she doesn't settle. She always is striving to do better for herself as far as performance goes. And when it comes to that ring alone, she is always striving for excellence. So to see Charlotte in here with a really great in-ring veteran, when you do your research and you find out how long Ruby Riot has been involved in the game, for me, this was all about, Ruby Riot, not only really proving herself that she deserves to be in the same talk with the other women that I mentioned a few seconds ago, but that this was definitely a coming out party for her from the standpoint of, if you need a really good dance partner, you want to make sure that XYZ is protected. You can trust Ruby Riot. She'll do good business. You'll do right by her. So for me, I was not disappointed with this matchup whatsoever. I love seeing the other 2 girls, Sarah Logan, Liv Morgan, come on out. I figured that Naomi and freaking Becky Lynch would come on out. By the way, just going back to that female tag match, did anybody else notice that all the women in that matchup all wore one-piece outfits? I just thought that was a little bit. Now, some would say, yeah, but Lee, there was a little bit of variety as far as color scheme, all that. But for me, I just really felt that was too much one-piece suits. It was overkill. Now that I've said that and you go back and you watch the pay-per-view, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But no, I enjoyed Ruby Riott taking on Charlotte Flair. It was a great matchup, I would have to say, just looking at the entire card. I would say that honorable mention, Nakamura, Rusev. No. Let me back up a second. No. Honorable mention goes to Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, Charlotte Flair, Ruby Riott. And even though it wasn't close to 10 minutes, I definitely got to show a little bit of love to the Usos taking on the New Day for what it was worth until the Bludgeon Brothers came out. We saw Charlotte defeat Ruby Riott via submission. I mean, as soon as she applied the figure eight, it was almost instant that Ruby Riott had tapped out. But the big takeaway was post-match as Charlotte Flair was celebrating. We actually saw Asuka come out, got in the face of Charlotte Flair, pointed at the WrestleMania sign. A lot of pointing at the WrestleMania sign on tonight's Fastlane. A little bit more than I dare say I could handle, quite honestly. Look, boss, the plane. It's the plane, boss. It's the plane. Just all that goddamn pointing. Just pointing like that, George. I mean, my God. But no, seriously, we saw Asuka get in the face of Charlotte. So looks like that's official. It's going to be Charlotte taking on Asuka for the WWE Women's title coming up at WrestleMania. And I love that Jonathan Coachman was interacting with people all night, because one person had asked a really good question. One fan asked a really good question, which is, so Coach, what's going to happen with Asuka now that she's challenging Charlotte for the title? Does this mean she is now part of the SmackDown roster? And Jonathan Coachman said, that's a very good question. Make sure you tune in to Raw Monday night, as we'll dive into that. My 2 cents from a distance, I think as far as what you can expect, I feel that Asuka is still part of the Raw roster. However, if she were to defeat Charlotte for that SmackDown Women's title, then by default, either two scenarios is going to happen. Either the women's title will then become property of the Raw brand, and Asuka will still be contracted that way, or it's going to be a situation where, as a result of Asuka winning the women's title, she will now be on Raw and SmackDown, or, which I think is most likely going to happen, I'm going to jump out there. I predict a swerve ball, a serious swerve ball is going to happen come WrestleMania time. What I think is going to happen is we're going to get a really great matchup between Asuka and Charlotte. Asuka, I feel, is going to do the job. It's going to be a hell of a great technical matchup, no doubt about that. Blow for blow, move for move. It's going to be probably one of the most technical matches you're going to see. And dare I say, as far as women's matches goes, other than what Charlotte was doing when she was tearing it up with Sasha over on Raw, it's going to meet that level, I personally feel. I could see it booking-wise being very draining on both opponents. But in the end, I see Asuka winning it. But my swerve, Carmella's going to cash in that Money in the Bank briefcase, and she's going to successfully beat Asuka to become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. And as a result of that, I'm not seeing Asuka and Carmella lock it up. I'm not seeing that. History has shown that for a person to win the title and then they lose it in the same night, as far as a rematch clause goes, it ain't happening. So I predict that's what's probably most likely going to happen. And I'm also looking at it from the standpoint of Carmella has been pretty ice cold these past couple of months. I think we all could be in agreement of that. Let's be candid here. James Ellsworth is what really was helping her out. They helped each other out. Let's be real. They really helped each other out. And now that you've taken that away from Carmella, she's just sitting at the dock of the bay wasting time, like that Otis Redding song, right? So I think there's going to be a serious swerve come WrestleMania. And again, I'm just telling you guys, what I'm telling you is not fact. What I'm telling you is just basically if I was booking it, if I'm looking at certain talent and I'm scratching my head trying to figure out, well, how can I get this person the momentum that they need, especially if I'm going to give them a run as a champion? My point is, if you don't pull the trigger on Carmella at WrestleMania, I mean, nobody would see that coming. Nobody would. And just the way that Carmella could go about doing it, just from the booking standpoint, and then to know that Carmella and Asuka will never lock it up again, not unless you do another draft and Asuka heads on over to the SmackDown brand that way. You feel where I'm coming from? So, at the end of the day, a lot of you guys might not agree with some of the things that I'm putting out there, but it's just my 2 cents from a distance. I'm putting on my thinking cap as a writer and all that. And that's just honestly the way I would go about setting it up. Now, give me credit where credit is due. Longtime listeners know this. There's been a lot of stuff that I've said on the show the past couple of years as far as, well, if I was booking it, this is how I would do it. And frame for frame to perfection, I've called it. So we'll wait and see how this comes about. One more match to talk about. And I know my girl is probably snickering right now. Yeah, short show my ass. I got one more match. Let's see at this point if we can keep it under an hour. We got one more match. Let's talk about it. We got that match that came about for the WWE Championship, the six-pack challenge. And, I the thing that bugged me about this, you got all the participants, and it's like, oh, we're waiting on John Cena here. You got John Cena coming in there, and he's just giving AAs off the break to people. And if there was ever a man that should be, I'm just looking from the booking standpoint, and maybe I missed some stuff because I was getting ready for the show, so I'll rely on you guys to correct me if I'm wrong. But if there was ever a man that should be considered most hated, if there should ever be a man, storyline wise, that has had opportunities after opportunities after opportunities and has had his time in the limelight, is one John Cena. If there was ever a man that deserves to have the Vincent D'Onofrio Full Metal Jacket ass whooping late at night, it needed to be John Cena. And the fact that John Cena did not get that ass whooping, right? That gang up is a travesty as far as I'm concerned. But no, like pretty much as soon as this match came about, just attitude adjustments off the break, like it was freaking Halloween candy being put in your hands as you're knocking on the freaking door, man. I'm just like, what the hell? We saw an interesting spot that came about, closing moments of the matchup. At one point, we see that it came on down to Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn saying to Kevin, hey, I told you I was going to lay down for you, man. Come on, come get to this, basically. Laid down on his back in the middle of the ring. Kevin Owens looking very shocked, not really sure what the hell to make. I thought their timing was a little bit off with that spot, by the way, because it looked as though Kevin Owens, as he was going for the pin, we see Sami pretty much trick Kevin doing a roll-up, and the referees counting, and they pretty much just it broke out after that, and the two of them are finally going at it. Action goes outside the ring. No Daniel Bryan there. We're told that Daniel Bryan had a personal family matter, nothing serious. He was just at a family function event, so he's out of commission for tonight. But Shane McMahon was available, and Shane McMahon, of all the matches where he could just pop up and say, hey Corey, hey guys, I just want to kick on back and interact with you all, he picked this match to come on out. I think we all smelled this a mile away that something was about to go down. Sure enough, as the action had came about over to Shane from Sami and Kevin, we see Kevin getting ready to load up one sweet ass super kick on Sami Zayn. Sami gets out of the way, kicks the living hell out of Shane O'Mac. You're thinking Shane O'Mac is concussed. I mean, Shane sold the hell out of that damn kick, by the way. We see Kevin, he goes back in on Sammy, gets him in the ring, eventually tries to go for a cover. We see Shane McMahon. He pulls, I want to say it was either I want to say it was the ref. Yeah, because when I remember I was doing something, I looked up, the ref was out. Yeah, so we see Kevin Owens in the ring looking at Shane like, what the hell? As far as Shane was concerned, no, you hit me. No, screw you. We see at this point Sami Zayn, he eventually comes around, tries to roll up Kevin Owens. Looks like maybe Sami is about to become the new WWE champion. We see Shane O'Mac grab the ankle of Sami, pull him out the ring, and same thing again, rinse, repeat. So you're going down. Well, so much for that. This pretty much closing moments. We had saw John Cena, Baron Corbin, they were going at it. How do you take out Baron Corbin? Well, just stand there while I go grab these big ass heavy steel steps and I knock you in the face with it. I don't know about you, but I'd have been moving so damn fast to dodge them and just beat the crap. No, that was really silly how that had came about too. They could have booked that a little bit better. If you go back and watch, you know what I'm talking about. But we saw John Cena give Baron Corbin an AA. Looked as though the match was about to be over. But we saw, I want to say Dolph Ziggler. He ran in there, pretty much broke that up. Your closing moments, it pretty much came down to AJ Styles pretty much doing the unthinkable. And what I want to do at this point, I want to give credit where it's due, because I think it's really important that we highlight this, which is who did the pinning or did the submission there. We know AJ Styles had retained. But what I can't remember right now, and I'm actually looking at my show notes here, guys, so bear with me a second. What I can't recall is whether or not AJ had pinned John Cena. And according to my notes here, we actually saw John Cena. And it's coming back to me now. John Cena tried to go for another attitude adjustment. I want to say he tried to do this on, who did he try to do this? I think he did it on Dolph Ziggler. And then he tried to go for another AA, but then we saw Kevin Owens. He ran in there, stopped it. Owens had connected with the pop-up power bomb on Cena. And then AJ did the springboard out of nowhere, connecting with the phenomenal forearm on Owens to pick up the win. So for you guys that's going, so did Cena take the pin or submit? Nope. Cena was you could make the argument protected right there. Call it Cena-nomics, if you will. But for you guys that was going, AJ Styles, he's going to be locking it up with Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania in 28 days. We're going to get that rematch. Now, look, man, I don't know if it's really going to live up to what they did in New Japan a couple of years back. One could only hope that they're going to be allowed to really tell that story. But I tell you what, watch that match for all it's worth. If you guys haven't freaking watched it yet, you would be thoroughly entertained by that. I can't wait. It should be, no pun intended, a phenomenal matchup. But let's go to the polling now, guys. I want to know what you all had thought about tonight's WWE Fastlane event here. So I'm loading up the Twitter here, and I'm also taking a look at YouTube here. And while I'm loading this up, for you guys that are checking this out, if you're checking it out on YouTube, if you haven't done so already, make sure you click on the thumbs up, share, definitely comment. You YouTube audience, a new cool feature that got rolled out is live chat replay. So as we all are interacting together, people that will be watching this on demand, they will actually be able to see what all you guys are saying. So don't be too surprised if maybe some comments will be directed towards you guys. So just makes interacting with one another even that much more cooler. I love that new feature that they rolled out. I was playing around with it a couple of times over the past couple of days now. So I love that they rolled that out. And click on the like, and make sure if you haven't done so, click on the subscribe button, but most importantly, click on the bell icon so you guys get notifications for whenever I am live on the air. You never miss out. And you guys listening via Spreaker or the RCWR Show app, click on the little heart/like icon. To the polls we go now. We got them both loaded up here. So on YouTube, way it's looking right now, asked you guys, how would you rate WWE Fastlane? Right now, 22% of you are giving it a thumbs up. 28% of you are giving it a thumbs down. Meanwhile, 50% of you are staying in the middle. Let's now go to Twitter and let's see what you guys are saying on Twitter. I saw a decent amount of votes come in on Twitter here. Let's see what we got so far. Twitter, wow. 186 votes and counting via Twitter are coming in right now. 25% of you are staying in the middle for Fastlane. 33% of you are giving it a thumbs down and just slightly taking the lead so far. 42% of you are giving it a thumbs up. Interesting right there. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in the Let's see what you guys are saying right now in the chat. See what you got going on here. Where we want to start? I want to show some love to our audience over here on Spreaker. How you guys doing over there? Shout out to Kelton. Shout out to Robert. Shout out to Robert. Robert said, thanks, Lee. Listening live with the app. Thanks again for the post show. You are welcome, my friend. What's good, Kelton? Why is my iTunes opening? I didn't ask for my iTunes to open up. Let's close that. And let's see what's going on over here on Facebook. Shout out to Ozzy. Shout out to Ty. Shout out to Ronnie. Ozzy feels that it was a really great pay-per-view. I'm reading what's coming in via Facebook here. Ozzy felt that it was a really awesome pay-per-view. See what else we got. Let's hop on in the YouTube chat here. And I agree with Mark. Mark is basically saying, and shout out to Austin. Yeah, for those of you that want to cast your vote, and if you haven't done so already, if you're watching the stream on YouTube, just on my YouTube channel here at the RCWR Show, go over to the communities tab and you'll see the poll. And or if you have Twitter, I guess this is a good time to plug. Yeah, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Use keywords the RCWR Show. So yeah, you can get in that way, cast your vote. I agree with what Mark Brown had basically said. Mark Brown basically said it was a predictable pay-per-view. I would definitely agree with that. I would agree with that, Mark, especially considering that rumblings were that there really wasn't going to be any title changes, that everything was going to be intact. Let's be real, we only saw one title change hands tonight at the pay-per-view. So to those that have felt as though we're not really going to see all the titles change hands, there's not really going to be that much of an exchange of titles between hands, you got to pat yourselves on the back. You guys pretty much had called it right. Exotic Minds, he's giving the pay-per-view a thumbs down. Exotic, you got to jump in there, man. You got to let me know why you're giving it a thumbs down, man. Let's see what else we have here. I'm just going through some more comments here, guys. Bear with me a second here. Shout out to Steven. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Nelson. On a side note, is it just me or is Ruby Riot kind of looking more and more like the older sister of Jessica Jones? Maybe I've been watching too much Jessica Jones. I've been binging on Marvel stuff all weekend. Steven, match was going to be, what's the deal with Corey? Roots for heel, then next match flips. That act is getting old. Choose a side. Dude, you can't tell me nothing bad about Corey Graves, man. I can listen to Corey Graves all night, man. Corey Graves is on point. See what we got here. I'm still going through some comments here. Still waiting on Batista. What you waiting on Batista for, man? So Roman Reigns. Let me go back up to the top. There's a lot of you guys trying to catch up on the comments here, guys. Bear with me a second here. And I think if you guys want me to tackle a question, just put it in caps. That way I know it's a question. Well, I see some happiness here that Randy Orton had won the title. See, yeah, my boy Randy Orton got the U.S. title. He deserved it, and they totally screwed up the Usos. And no, that went down exactly. That went down exactly how it was supposed to. Lucky how you say your name? Lucky Straight? Lucky Straight is saying, aside from Asuka, the title change, and the main event, I don't remember anything else. Don't feel bad. I probably won't remember that much either in the morning. If I'm silent right now, it's because I just took a swig. For those of you that's listening to the audio only. Yeah, that Mojo line was ridiculous. I could listen to that all damn day, dude. Let's see. Austin, I have a feeling that Nia Jax will be champion. This kind of goes back to what me and some of my other colleagues have been talking about off and on the past couple of weeks, which is Charlotte is going to get locked up with Asuka, and as a result of that, that's going to create another opportunity over on the Raw side to try to figure out who the contender could be. And in this case, I would imagine by default, Nia Jax is going to be able to slide in there. I mean, unless you're going to do another tournament of sorts that's going to play out on Raw, and then maybe it culminates in the semifinals where Nia and whoever fight, and then the winner from that later on during the Mania card, since you got to kill a little bit of time anyway, will face Alexa Bliss for the title. Maybe that's one way you could go about it. Another way you could try to go about it is maybe it kind of goes back to what I said on the RCWR show this past week, which is you can have a scenario where Alexa Bliss is caught having a few labs with Mickie James, talking about how she enjoyed grilling into Nia Jax last week, right? Maybe you could do something of that nature. Nia hears this and she just decides from that moment going forward, she's locked and loaded on Alexa Bliss and she wants to do everything in her power to dethrone Homegirl. Yeah, makes a little bit of sense. Go through a couple of more comments here before we get ready to wrap it up here. And while I got you guys' attention, I want to kindly remind you all, in case you all didn't check it out yet, there is a great conversation that I did with future WWE Hall of Famer himself, Jeff Jarrett, JEFFJARRETT, Jeff Jarrett. That's available right now here on the YouTube channel. For those of you that are saying, well, what about those guys that check you out on the downloads, on demand, Lee? Where's the audio love? The audio love will come at you guys on Tuesdays, the RCWR show, which you can check out. Always air Tuesdays, 10 p.m. Eastern. After SmackDown goes off the air, simulcast it live exclusively via the RCWR show app, available for free in the Google Play Store. Check that out. Also streams on Facebook, streams on YouTube, and streams on the Spreaker platform. Let's keep going here. I don't really think I miss anything else. I like the great interactions that a lot of you guys are having with each other right now, man. Loving it here. And Joker, yeah, I let my hair grow out. Yeah, I don't know. I just said I'm just gonna stop shaving. Quite honestly, I'm on break now. Yeah, longtime listeners know I've been bald for the longest, just honestly by choice. I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna start growing my hair out again. So what the hell? I got a good question here. Do you see Nia turning on Alexa? I don't really. Now, I answered that question, Mark, a little bit earlier. And shout out to Epic, because Epic is going to have a hard time splicing this together. But to answer your question about the face part, I like Nia Jax exactly where she is right now. And I for one, I don't quite understand the dialogue that's been going on in the wrestling community from people that all of a sudden they want to see her go face or whatever. I don't really think that's needed. Just let her continue to go out there, kick ass, take names, be the dominating force that she is, pretty much does everything when she wants, where she wants, however she wants. I think a lot of the people that are saying what they're saying about Nia Jax going face, the ideology is justified, because if you're following her on social media, you see how she's always posting uplifting comments about how, oh, if you're a big person, don't feel ashamed. don't let anybody tell you XYZ. You're beautiful inside and out. When you have her really jumping out there saying things like that, it can definitely blur the lines as far as, well, wait a minute, I know I'm supposed to take her as a heel, and her theme song is, she's not like most girls. They're pretty much, they take what they're given. I gotta go out here, I gotta earn my or whatever. But I don't really think you need to go the babyface route to answer your question. Like short, I don't think you need to go the babyface route. I think she's fine just the way she is. She just needs to, quote on what Mark had said, she just needs that monster push. A girl of that size that has honestly come along quite well. I remember Nia Jax several months back after coming up on the Raw roster, very green behind the ears, kind of botchy, just all over the place, botchy. And now she's, very rare do I see. That was, now she's stringing it together. So yeah, I would agree with Mark. A monster push is honestly what you do, exactly like a Braun Strowman. It shouldn't be that hard. Do her like Braun Strowman, do her like Brock Lesnar combined. It shouldn't really be that hard. Because honestly, when I look at a girl like Nia Jax, I look at her demeanor, I look at her move set, I automatically go Roman Reigns, Rhino, Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman, China, Beth Phoenix, all that rolled up in one. There's really no reason you need to go with a babyface Nia Jax. Yeah, hearing the rumblings, Jeff Hardy is cleared. Honestly, prediction real quick, he's probably going to most likely have some type of a cameo at the Hardy compound. I think that's honestly what's going to be happening. See what else we got here. I can't wait. I can't wait to have some more of my beer. I think we did good, man. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna stick a fork in it. I'm gonna call this DONE done. So now when I go back to the bedroom and I enjoy my nightcap of my beer, spending some quality time with the lady, and then catching up on a few more episodes of Jessica Jones, I now have to deal with so much for a short show. And to that, I will just say, fuck you. And sorry. Oh, I think we did good. I mean, it beats 90 minutes, right? Because usually when we do these after shows, it's what, 90 minutes, yeah? So it's good that we're getting out of here way before the hour 15-minute mark. Yeah, I think we did fantastic. All right, so I'm gonna stick a fork in it. This show is over. I appreciate everybody. If I didn't mention your name, I apologize, but you know who you are. Thank you for checking out the broadcast. Your next edition of the RCWR show is coming at you guys on Tuesday, March the 13th, 2018. I'll be coming on at 10 p.m. Eastern after SmackDown goes off the air. I'll be on YouTube, Spreaker, Facebook, live via the RCWR show app. It's going to be a jam-packed episode, a lot of stuff we need to get into, especially as far as headlines go. A little bit of everything has come about. And for you Marvel buffs, I will definitely be talking about the first impressions I'm getting so far of the second season for Netflix's Jessica Jones. I love me some Jessica Jones, man. Kristen Ritter, she is so cute. She is a cute little button, man. I almost had to do a double take. I did see her on Breaking Bad, didn't I? Yeah. So, but no, we're going to be going all over the place as always, man. It's going to be a great show. So make sure you tune in, check that out. Those of you that's going to be waiting for the downloads for this episode, give me about 20 minutes. Spreaker will get first dibs. And the other platforms, you should pretty much have it in the wee hours of the morning. Definitely when you get ready to make your way to school and work, all that good jazz. All right. So that's going to do it. So for you guys on YouTube, I want to say thank you guys so much. See you guys next go round. Take care.